Hi everyone. So I'm a little behind in my bird videos, and I've had so many people message me in the last couple days saying, "You need to make more bird videos. Like, what happened to all the bird videos?" So today is bird cleaning cage day, and of course, because it's spring and my birds all love me so much, my birds tend to molt all at the same time and they gang up on me, and I usually get like huge sinus headaches because their dust is everywhere. And yeah, so molting is something that every bird owner is going to have to experience, and it's totally normal. It's kind of like when dogs shed. Um, Very similar, actually. Um, the losing of feathers once or twice, like, here and there is one thing. That's normal. If a feather gets damaged or pulled out, or your bird pulls it out because it's damaged, the body will replace it. It's not going to wait for the molt to replace that feather. Um, but essentially, what molting is usually twice a year in the spring and in the fall. Your bird will lose all of his feathers, obviously not all at once, or most of his feathers, and replace them with new ones. Now, with dogs, shedding is usually to prepare for a change of season. So in the spring, your dog will shed its winter coat and grow in its summer coat, and then at the end of summer, beginning of fall, late fall, depending on where you are and how cold it gets, how quickly it gets cold, your dog will then shed its summer coat to prepare to grow in its winter coat, and that's normal. Your bird will do something very similar, um, where it will shed all of its feathers to grow in new ones. Now, the whole idea that it's growing in summer feathers or winter feathers is kind of ridiculous. They don't need, like, birds don't grow different feathers depending on the time of year. It's usually just to replace the feathers that have gotten bad or that have been damaged in some way, and it's just kind of like a fresh start. So most birds, when they go through molting, you can't stop your bird from molting. You can't speed up the process. Really, you can just kind of help them along. It's kind of like when you have a cold. Um, you can't take anything to get rid of the cold. Maggie, my mom's cat trying to get into my room. Come on, you little. Come on. You coming in or what? Hurry up. Here you go. Spoiled little kitty. So, it's kind of like when you have a cold. You can't really do anything to get rid of the cold, and you can't really do anything to speed up the cold. You can just kind of treat the symptoms as they come. So a lot of birds will get cranky when they molt because they're itchy, and it's not fun to be losing feathers everywhere. So a lot of people will say, one of the best things you can do is mist your bird often, so give them lots of baths. Um, to me, this really, don't you dare complain to get out now. You're in. To me, this is kind of depends on the bird. Some birds really like to have baths, so by all means, give them a couple extra ones. Other birds hate it. Not something I suggest if your bird doesn't like to have a bath because they're already cranky because they're molting. Um, I always recommend that you give your bird some sort of supplement, not something that you add to their food or add to their water that they have no choice to take. Something more like herb salad, which is my go-to. I love this stuff. Um, it keeps in mind your bird's natural tendencies. So a bird is a forager, and foraging is such an important part of their lifestyle. Birds have evolved to, self-medicate, and that's kind of the idea behind herb salad, is that if they feel like they need something a little extra, it's there for them. So I always recommend that you provide something like that, so that if they feel like they're needing something, a little more of something and a little of something else, then they have access to it. Um, it is going to be normal for your bird to be grouchy if you normally would pet your bird or whatever, and some birds get really grouchy when they're molting. Other birds want nothing more than for you to sit there and preen their feathers, which is fine. Now, if your bird starts to think that this is a mating ritual, then okay, stop. This is not something you want to encourage. But Goonie, my umbrella cockatoo, loves to be preened. He loves to have somebody sit there and pick at his feathers on his head and on his face. One of my cockatiels, Chippy, loves to have her feathers kind of picked at and played with. My Linny Kia, not so much. So, you might want to help them along a little bit here and there. So when your bird is molting, especially if you're a new bird owner, you might see this as a little weird, but when their feathers grow in, it's got kind of like a waxy coating on it. And that's normal. Those are called pin feathers, and you're not going to want to pick those out. Just let them do their thing. You will notice that once they've kind of grown to their full length, that it'll become white. And with white birds, you'll see this more where the bottom of the feather will be red, which is where all the blood vessels are to make the feather grow. Once the feather has kind of reached its limit, that red base will go away or will diminish. And then the feather is ready to be kind of the sheath of whatever you want to call it, waxy coating. It will be removed either by your bird or just through playing and whatever to reveal the new feather. So definitely don't start picking out pin feathers. It hurts and it's not nice. Maggie's checking out all the stuff I've got on my desk, which is really short, which is why I'm so far down. So yeah, there are diets that you can get that are specifically for birds who are molting. I kind of don't put a lot of faith in them. Just because I wonder what your bird is getting, like if your bird is getting too much of one thing or not enough of something else, which is why I recommend something like herb salad so that they can kind of pick and choose what they need and what they don't need. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Your bird definitely will molt. The only thing that I want to make sure everyone understands is that if your bird starts losing feathers out of the blue, like let's say it's the middle of summer, they normally molt in the spring and in the fall, and all of a sudden it's got a huge bald spot, that is definitely not normal. Even birds who are molting won't have bald patches on them. You'll see that they'll lose a few feathers here and there, and they kind of all take their turn. If your bird starts to develop bald patches, then there's probably something else that's going on there. Either they have a rash, or they have a skin infection, or sometimes it's completely benign. I know it was kind of my fault. I felt so bad. I was putting Kia back in his cage one day, and I kind of, the top of his head kind of, I don't want to say skinned, because they didn't skin him, but it's skimmed the top of the cage, or the bottom of the cage where the door was, and it kind of pulled some of his feathers out. So he had this bald patch on his head. I felt awful. So sometimes it's completely benign and it just happens. Other times, I know Goonie got a bug bite once on his cheek, and he like scratched all the feathers off of that one area so he could see the bug bite. So, take a look at your bird and make sure that it's something that doesn't need medical attention. Bald patches, like I said, are not normal. But otherwise, just kind of let them do their thing. Maybe provide them with some bath water, or spritz them down a little bit more often than you normally would, just to keep their skin hydrated and them comfortable. It also encourages them to preen their feathers, which is kind of what you want, because you want them to get rid of the feathers that are falling out. You are definitely going to get the bird snow effect. My cockatiels are the worst. They've got very downy feathers, so of course they're rolling across the floor, and the birds, or the dogs and cats, just think they're the best, and they're eating them, and they got them stuck to their noses. It's hilarious. But like I said, it's something that you're pretty much just going to have to grin and bear. If you have any questions about molting, or any other recommendations for videos, please put them in the comments below or send me a message, and I'll try to do video. A lot of the reasons why I haven't been doing mini bird videos is because I've kind of run out of things to talk about, in the sense that after a while, things kind of become like, I think to myself, oh well, I've already done a video about that, or I don't think to do a video of it because you know, it's not something that I think, it's not like something that comes up in my head that I go, oh my god, like I've never done a video about this before, and something that I've had to do research on or whatever. So anyway, if you have any questions, please message me or send me, like, comment or message me or whatever, and I will totally do a video about it. So again, it's Easter weekend here. I hope you have a fabulous Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. Definitely don't let your bird eat chocolate. And I will see you next time.